Today I want to show you how to make one of my favorite Mexican breakfasts, chilaquiles. Right now I'm heading to the market to get a few things for our chilaquiles. I want to get some queso fresca, which is just fresh cheese. Here they call it panela, but I think you could probably use something like ricotta salada, would be very similar. Or if you have a Latino market, you probably can get a queso fresca. You're going to need fresh tomatoes, preferably Roma or the paste type of tomato. They're just less juicy and they make a thicker sauce. And you'll need some dried chilies. My favorite for chilaquiles are chili Guajillo. If you can't find those, New Mexican red chilies will be perfect. Oh, there's Franco. Hola, ¿cómo está?
Bien, bien.
Bien, gracias.
Hola.
Somebody has my bird.
You want them?
No, you can keep it.
No,
I'm a pig. Oh, Franco. Hi, baby. And there's Franco. He's a very sweet baby. Now this is what fresh chilies look like. You can bend them and they're super malleable. Franco likes fresh chili. So they have crema, they have panela, and this would work, but I don't really like this brand and I don't like that it's not fresh. I'm going to see if I can find fresh panela somewhere in town. Yeah, Franco. Should we check out?
But after that, we need to get some more. I really think that. Oh, look at this guy.
That's Franco.
Franco? Is this yours?
No, he lives here. He just shops with me.
Hi, Franco.
I really like him.
He just hangs out around here?
Usually on the vegetables. If you're enjoying this video, hit the thumbs up. It really does help us creators. So I'm going down to a cheese market to see if they have panela or if they have cotija. Cotija is an aged Mexican cheese. It's really delicious. I call it Mexican Parmesan, but it tastes nothing like Parmesan, but it serves the same purpose. It's salty and adds a really nice savory punch, and you just use it very sparingly. Now the secret to good chilaquiles lies in a really delicious salsa, but the chips are just as important. If you can't get really good Mexican totopos, the fried tortilla chips, the ones that are really crunchy, like the ones you make at home, you're better off making your own. You need a really heavy, beefy chip to be able to hold that salsa without just getting really soggy. So I have everything here set up and ready to go, and this comes together in just a few minutes. Traditionally, chilaquiles are eaten in Mexico for breakfast or for brunch. They're also served as a really late night meal after a wedding. Place a saucepan, a small saucepan, over medium-high heat and fill it with about 3/4 of an inch of water. Now this recipe of chilaquiles is enough to serve 2 or 3 people. Basically, for every 3 tomatoes, you'll need 3 chilies, 1 clove of garlic, about 1/3 or 1/4 of an onion, a little bit of salt, and I love green stuff in my food, so I just throw in a little bit of parsley. Now I love my chilaquiles topped with a fried egg, so I go ahead and fry an egg to serve on top of them. And as a garnish, it's traditional to use sliced onion that have been rinsed in cold water, cilantro, some fresh avocado, cheese, which is an aged Mexican cheese, salsa roja, and really good, thick, crunchy Mexican-style tortilla chips, also known as totopos. My water has just come to a simmer. I'm going to add the tomato, the onion, my de-seeded chilies, garlic, and your salt, and parsley if you're using it. Now this is boiling pretty hard, so I'm going to go ahead and turn it down to a low simmer. Cover it and let it cook for about 10 to 15 minutes, just long enough to soften the tomatoes and reconstitute the chilies. It's been about 12 minutes. My chili's nice and soft, and so we are ready to blend our sauce. Go ahead and place all of your ingredients in the bowl of your blender and pour in about half of your cooking liquid. You don't want to use all of it because you don't want your sauce to be too thin. Your sauce should have the texture and consistency of a loose tomato soup. Fairly liquid, but not watery. Now this next step is totally optional. I believe it produces a much richer, more delicious chilaquili, but if you're in a hurry, you can certainly skip it. In the same saucepan, I'm going to brown about a tablespoon of butter. When that butter becomes nice and brown, I'm going to pour in my tomato sauce and let it fry for about 10 minutes. It's going to darken the color, it's going to intensify the flavor, and it's going to make a smoother, richer sauce. Okay, my sauce has been cooking for about 10 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and add my chips into the saucepan with the sauce and stir them just enough to coat them with my salsa. But I don't want to break them up, and I don't want to cook them so long that they turn to mush. Chilaquiles, really good ones, should have a lot of crunch left to their chips. Chilies seeded and stemmed, put them in a bowl. You can kind of shake them back and forth a little bit, and that helps any remaining seeds fall to the bottom. See what I mean about the seeds in the bottom?